relationship. I was 21. I think I was 21, and I was in Charleston, South Carolina, and I'd hitchhiked up there to chase down a girl that broke up with me and that I was in love with. And the truth was, I mean, I loved her, but I really loved her as a mother. I'd looked at her as a mother figure. I didn't realize it at the time. Even though there were some clues, man, when we broke up, I remember saying, you can't leave me. I said, you're like, I need you. I said, she's like, you've never acted like you needed me. I said, I need you. I said, you're like a mother to me. That's what I said. And it just came out of me. Yo.
Hey, this is Renee from New York, and I'm just calling in to give a quick comment on the previous caller talking about his pair of man titties.
Thank you for calling, Renee. Onward.
And his struggle with that. And me being the proud owner of a pair of man titties, I very much identified with that. Just wanted to say that, man, this world will convince you that whatever it is that you're bringing to the table ain't good enough.
Yeah, that's a great statement. I appreciate you saying that. It is. And I wonder if it's this world or if it's us, or if it's a mix. But yeah, there's a dirty recipe out there that leaves us feeling like whatever we're bringing to the table isn't good enough. And I think it all the time with my, I got limited neck. I got that limited neck, man. And I just put my little cousin David on my Instagram, and he got that specialty reacher. He got that real reacher, bro. That dude probably running on 4 or 5 extra vertebrates, that are outside above his clavicles. So he got those, those AC above clavicle, those ACVs, those above clavicle vertebrates. And he's got that real reacher neck. So our family, has different type of range when it comes to necks. But yeah, we've all got something, man. When I was a kid, I had my teeth was buck and separated. I got a big nose now, big ears, big cack, thick and a stick, I got that fainter's cock. We've all got something. You're right. And somehow we will feel less than. And it's something in our society and different elements of our society that make us feel that way. Let's hear more, Renee. Thanks for calling.
And all these inside ugly people are going to try and tell you that your shit ain't worth it. And the only thing that got me over my insecurities about my man titties is understanding that ain't nobody better than me. And I ain't better than nobody else. And, the only...
Wow. So think about that. Nobody's better than me. And I ain't better than anybody else. Dude, that's powerful. That's a powerful place right there. That's a powerful place, man. Nobody's better than me. And I ain't better than anybody else. Because then you're living right there. You're right there in the cockpit of comfort if you can stay right there. It's a nice thought, man. That's a beautiful thought for the day. Let's hear more, Renee.
Way to really get past it is to embrace it fully. So, just stand with a straight back and let the world love you for who you are. And if they can't do that, they're not worth it.
Gang, bruh. Defy adversity. That's, it says it on this shirt today. So I'm glad we got them helping us sponsor this episode. It's wild. It's wild how we battle so many little things. And what's crazy, Renee, is that we'll defeat the thing or we'll feel good about it, and then it'll come back. It'll come back. And it'll come back sometimes, like if something else happens, then that previous thing, a girl breaks up with you, don't get a job. You fall down a flight of stairs, somebody cuts your hair off at the library and burns part of your hair off. Something happens to you and then you feel, and then this other thing comes in immediately, like a dirty bird that lands on your shoulder. And you're like, oh yeah. Also I have I got a big nose, or also I got, eyes like, like one of the, like Kyle Korver, if he fucking, was a hippie, or, you have all the, or I'm not tall enough, or I'm not straight, I'm not have a good enough posture. I don't have, my kneecaps don't both point forward or something. All of a sudden, these other dirty birds land on your shoulder, right when something else happens. Something else kind of starts to push you over the edge, and then all this other that load comes onto you. That weight just hammers right back on you. These things you've beaten previously, they're back. And that's one of those moments where you got to figure out, this is one of the things I'm learning, how we can better win in this game of life and stay in a comfortable spot, is to notice when something bad happens. Notice before that other shit comes on, that's just waiting for it to remind us that of our self-worth, of just this, all those other little nitpick things before they come on, to separate, to find space in there. and say, okay, this bad thing happened, whatever this is, lost my job, girlfriend left me, lost my arm, was in a fire or something, can't find, our cats, or it could be anything. But then to suddenly be like, okay, I'm gonna handle this. I'm gonna accept this. I'm gonna deal with this, and I'm not gonna let this other shit just pile on me right now. It's interesting, and that's why. And I'm not saying I've mastered that. I don't know anything. But I'm saying in my life, I'm starting to notice that space in there and be able to say, okay, I'm standing up to this right now. I'm recognizing it, and I'm not letting this other shit come in right now because it's happened so many times before, and I know it just makes me feel just 20 times as bad. And then I'll do bad, I'll make poor choices and do other stuff. So I stop it now. I say, okay, this, I got this. And this bullshit, y'all stay right there because I dealt with y'all last week. Let's hear one more call.
I know you're on, I think, a low dosage of antidepressants, and I was wondering.
Yes, I am. I'm on fluoxetine, and that's that generic Zoloft, I think. But I'm on something generic. I'm on maybe, I think, kind of that second dose, second range, up more.
What made you decide to start taking them? Because I feel like I'm at a point where, I've tried diet and exercise, and I just feel like no matter what, I just keep going back to old ways of feeling, and my brain kind of goes into overdrive, and I'm not really able to enjoy anything really. And I'm 24, so I know like I'm young, and people say it's growing pains or whatever, but I just wanted your take on that because I'm kind of considering taking them because I just want to feel okay.
Oh, and I appreciate that call, and I'll take my headphones off because sometimes I can think a little bit more when I don't have them on. I just knew at the end that you were going to say, I just want to feel okay. That's just what we want to feel. And it's so tough. It's so tough. I feel you, Christina. I'm sorry if I'm throwing in an extra vowel or not throwing one in, but man, when you feel like you're doing all you can, and there's this weight. For me, it was this pain a little bit. Not only would I feel bad, but I had this heaviness in the top of my lungs a little bit that just felt like something was wrong with me, that I wasn't okay. It would almost be the feeling like you were going to get, if you were about to cry a little bit, but you didn't cry. It was just like this it was like these cumulus clouds of tears, like a 40% chance of fucking feelings just sitting in my lungs always. That would accompany me not feeling well. And for me, look, I'll tell you, when I got on them, I got out of a relationship. I was 21. I think I was 21, and I was in Charleston, South Carolina, and I'd hitchhiked up there to chase down a girl that broke up with me and that I was in love with. And the truth was, I loved her, but I really loved her as a mother. I'd looked at her as a mother figure. I didn't realize it at the time. Even though there were some clues, man, when we broke up, I remember saying, you can't leave me. I said, you're like, I need you. I said, she's like, you've never acted like you needed me. I said, I need you. I said, you're like a mother to me. That's what I said. And it just came out of me, and I didn't realize that, but anyhow, and I say that just to say that obviously I had taken this relationship and put extreme consequences and values and pressures on it that weren't fair for two young, some Romeo and Juliets, like me and this beautiful young lady. This lady was beautiful, man. She had this Native American kind of look. And, she just had a heart that, that probably sunk to the bottom of the ocean, and people have been looking for it forever. She had just a heart of gold. And I just remember, that at that moment, everything inside of me, whatever was broken inside of me not, maybe not feeling like I had affections of a mother, or whatever it is that created me feeling bad, whatever made me feel less than or made me feel depressed, that weighed inside of me, that's when it really started to take hold. And I remember going to a doctor, and they just come out with Zoloft. And dude, I got on it. And and I felt great. Look, I could drink gin on it too. I'll say this, I never even liked gin. Next thing you know, I'm wearing boat shoes and fucking watching sailing. I'm drinking gin. So Zoloft will make you definitely, hang out by a yacht club, But since then I've been on it. And that's been, 13, 14 years now that I've been on and off of those drugs. And for the most time I've been on them. And it's hard to get off them. And I'll say this, when I get off of them, what I feel like is how I felt before. I feel those feelings. You know, I feel that feeling you cannot escape, that I can't be okay. And I worried for years, especially when I was your age, I worried that, man, I could feel the chemicals in my brain sometimes a little bit. You know, I could feel myself feeling a little okay, even though shit was kind of weird. And then I was like, well, dang, is this okay? I'm not really feeling my real feelings. You know, I'm just kind of masking things. And that's true. I think there's some truth to that because your levels are a little higher. And so, you're not feeling those lows. But I think if you still try and focus on the work, whatever work needs to be done that solves those problems and fixes those hurt feelings, then I think you can really lift yourself up and maybe one day you can get off of them. And look, Christine, you're so young that, I mean, in a few years, they could have some real natural, holistic ways. And they do now. There's a holistic medicine depression woman that follows me on Instagram. And she's constantly saying there are ways to get off of antidepressants and things like that. But if you think it could help you right now, I wouldn't feel ashamed about it. You know, I pridefully wake up in the morning and take my low dose Zoloft or whatever it is. And I'm just grateful, you know, and I have a lot of good relationships in my life these days. And I don't have a lot of the same low feelings that I used to have when I was younger. And I feel a little bit more okay. And a lot of that is because of, the medicine has been there as like a training wheels for my feelings along the way. And they're there for me when I fucking hit the low points, you know, and sometimes I don't need them. And so every now and then I'll go like about 5 or 6 months, I'll wean myself off. I'll talk to my doctor and I'll get off. But then I usually get back on. It's kind of like when you swim out in a pool when you're young and you get a couple feet from the wall and you start feeling squirrely, you know, but you can still have fun in the pool and those things just kind of give you that wall, you know, but I would feel okay with trying them. And that's just a suggestion.